Hello everyone, today we have a very interesting build with a Symbiote Spider-Man Master Mold deck. Master Mold on release, I was really excited for him. I thought he was going to be able to do some really cool creative things, but it turned out that he just wasn't really worth the effort because you gave them a better resource than you just played more often than not. But with a couple of resources that we've had recently in Grandmaster and Symbiote Spider-Man, that can be the difference between triggering a Master Mold once, or 2 times, or maybe even 3 times on separate turns, which can be the difference between just sending them a couple of Sentinels and actually disrupting their ability to draw and do what they want to do. Also, the meta has shifted a little bit. We're very heavy into a bounce meta, and if you have a single Master Mold trigger, that makes it much more difficult for them to bounce all of the cards that they want to back in their deck. And then also, if you hit it twice, then they're not going to have very many resources of their own to leverage either. And so we also have the Hawk line that we're going to be leaning into with the Korg, the Rock Slide, to add disruption directly into their deck. Sometimes we're going to be able to stop them from drawing with our Master Mold. Maybe we'll save the Symbiote Spider-Man for the last turn to be able to make sure that our Ronin gets kind of surged up, and that we add as many cards back into their hand at the end of the game as possible. We can also sometimes do some sneaky, like Symbiote Spider-Man merge into a card in left or right, and then reposition it with Grandmaster into mid, which can be a really tricky way to reposition your power that's really tough to anticipate from the opponent. If you can find those lines, you can do some really cool things with this deck. We have Spider-Ham for some additional disruption, and then we have 2 cards that I think are pretty big sleepers in the current meta. We have Shadow King and Cosmo. Both of those disrupt some really big, high-power plays. Shadow King being able to offset the plethora of cards that we have that can scale up in power, and then Cosmo being able to disrupt their ability to do all of the on-reveals that they want to do. And right now, the game and the meta is very heavy into just on-reveal stuff, and so a well-placed Cosmo can be completely disruptive to the opponent. We're going to go ahead and end the deck explanation there. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. And also, I took a different approach on the thumbnail for this video. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. If it works, if it's too much away from my original style, if you liked it, let me know so that I can make further tweaks and try to refine my content even further. Thank you guys as always. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, next up we have Noah. The first location is Thunderbolts Tower. We're going to go ahead and play our Spider-Ham. It hits their Cosmo. And they have a Snow Guard, which is an interesting build. We have Shadow King to be able to offset. We don't have another turn to play. We will be able to place a Rock Slide followed up with maybe a Symbiote Spider-Man so that we can add even more junk so that we can lean into our Hawk line. That's my tentative play line. I'm also going to play the Rock Slide over into Thunderbolts Tower. I know that it's going to get negatively afflicted. Wait a minute. I haven't seen Master Mold in... I don't know that I've ever seen somebody play Master Mold. And as soon as we're playing Master Mold, that is what we run into. Very, very interesting. We're going to go ahead and do the Symbiote Spider-Man to the left. We have the easy way to win in the right with our Hawk. But we also don't have a lot of ways to reach into Crimson Cosmos, so maybe we need to throw a Hawk into Crimson Cosmos and hope for our Mystique by the end of the game. Might be the direction we need to go. We do get our Mystique, and so I think that is going to be what we go with. Let's go ahead and activate the Symbiote Spider-Man. They... Okay. The snap tells me they probably got an Acid Arrow. They do have initiative on us, and so if we merge, we're going to merge our Symbiote Spider-Man with the -2, which will then send back their way, which is not great. Instead of doing the merge, I'm just going to do Hawk here and see, because I'm pretty sure that that's what that snap is the Acid Arrow. Yeah, that's what I imagined. That is the downside or deficit of a Symbiote Spider-Man. So they go with Maximus. They have a lot of power over here, and an unfortunate amount of power. And then the basic arrow here is pretty big. We can always go Mystique. Korg to the right. Shadow King to the right, I think is what we're going to go with. We're going to have to hope that Hawk in mid is enough. Go from there. So the Spider Ham right, that is fine. We're going to have the Shadow King that's going to set their basic arrow back down, their Spider Ham, and the Rock. And we have the Mystique to copy our Hawk. And so even though they had a really good counter to our Symbiote Spider-Man play, it is all good. They can have the left lane. They have it heavily locked in, but we will take the right instead. We'll take the 4 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Duplicius, the first location, Pet Mansion. We have the Rock Slide into Symbiote line, potentially. But unfortunately, we do have to skip on turns 1 and 2. So no early disruption for him. We're going to have to lean into that like late game disruption instead. From the Great Portal, we get Thanos, who comes in at a 5 cost because of Titan. Let's go Rock Slide left. Even though we didn't get it early, we're going to have a lot sending their way late. Windjet. And Mysterio. Jeff. I'm assuming Mockingbird. All right, let's go ahead and go Symbiote Spider-Man. There's a kind of cool line here, especially if we end up getting Mystique or need to drop Iron Lad on the last turn. Ooh, Moon Girl to double down on the Mockingbird line, I would imagine. There's a potentially pretty cool line here with the Grandmaster. So we can go Hawk right. If we don't draw Mystique, we're going to have to do like a Hail Mary dig for it with maybe an Iron Lad. But we are going to shuffle 2 more rocks into their deck. With Moon Girl, they weren't able to draw going into turn number 5, which helps our Hawk out even further. The Rock, looks like they doubled up on one of the rocks. My goodness. Okay, so we do not get Mystique. We have a 1 out of 3 shot of drawing into it. So what I want to do is Iron Lad into Grandmaster. That's going to push our Hawk up even further. That's going to bring the Symbiote from here to here, shuffle 2 more rocks into their deck, and we're potentially going to pull our Mystique as well. I'm not going to snap into it because I do like to see these play out, but the 1 out of 3 is not awful. The other possible hit is Ronin, which is great. We lose to a Shang-Chi, but otherwise, I think we have enough power in mid, regardless, that we'd be all right. We'll see if they had a Shang-Chi. They didn't get to draw very much. Destroyer is crazy. That was from the Great Portal, right? And She-Hulk. She-Hulk, that's big. Into the Sunspot. It's big, but not big enough. My goodness. What a finisher. We're able to hold down mid because of the Ronin, because of Grandmaster repositioning our Symbiote Spider-Man. We'll gladly take the 2. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Goody. The first location is nowhere, and so we are not going to be playing our early cards there by any means. We do have Hawk in our opening hand, so that is going to be great for playing in the left lane. It'll be protected. Central Park comes down, not great for a potential Symbiote Spider-Man. Now it would be a 50-50 in the right lane. Not great odds. They go Falcon to pull in their cards. They're not going to draw here. They have a Sable and 3 Squirrels in their hand. If only... Ooh. If only we had like Master Mold, we could really, really hurt them. I'm going to go ahead and snap into this because the Cosmo is perfect. Potentially being able to restrict them from doing on reveals anywhere. And yes, it'll stop us from doing our Mystique, Rock Slide, any of those fun lines. But I think it's so unfortunate. I think a lot of times their type of deck will lean or want to lean pretty heavily onto those on reveals. So by the end of the game, they're going to be able to draw 2 more times. And so Hawk is going to go down 15, 13. 13 power in this right lane is pretty solid. I'm going to play Iron Lad. My only reservation with playing him is they did have a Hazmat, so they could be leaning into like an Ajax line, and so we may help their Ajax a little bit. The big beast in the left lane A Symbiote Spider-Man would be amazing because we could play it here, it would merge, and it wouldn't take up that board space. But it'll take... Look at, this deck has so many underplayed but really effective cards right now in Shadow King and Cosmo, and then of course the fun line of Master Mold. We're gonna go ahead and take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Kindle. The first location is Dream Dimension. I'm gonna go ahead and play Spider-Ham into mid. That way we open up the possibility to hit Master Mold later with a Grandmaster, maybe the Symbiote Spider-Man, and then Grandmaster to move it into mid. But they throw down Loki on turn number 1, which is so unfortunate. We do get the Grandmaster line. Let's go Master Mold. They are going to start drawing our cards, but if we can stop them from drawing very many, then it won't matter too much. And Hawk is still going to be pretty big if we can get her to be on the board. The first card they drew from us was Rock Slide, and unfortunately, great card for them for turn at number 2. I'm going to go ahead and go Grandmaster to re-trigger Master Mold one more time on this turn, and I'm going to play a Rock in a Norn Dimension. That way we get a Jin that we can maybe leverage a little bit. What I'm hoping for is to block them from drawing. So they do play their Pig into Grandmaster, which re-triggers Loki, but now that's not really so much of an advantage because they don't get any additional card draw. We do know that they now have 4 Sentinels in their hand. So of their 3 cards, 4 of those are Sentinels, which is so funny to me. We can go Symbiote Spider-Man into mid, plus a Jin. That way we can re-trigger Spider-Ham, since they did play out the pig. Turn number 5, we will be able to do Ronin because of our Jin line. Let's see what they go with. Spider-Ham. We can still do Ronin, but he's not going to be great for us. They do play Spider-Ham and Sentinel, so they're going to be able to have room to draw a card. But, of course, they still have 4 Sentinels, and so a max of 3 resources in hand. And so let's lean into, I'm guessing, Iron Lad, unless we get the good old Hawk. Hawk is going to be the direction we go with here. We can go Hawk into, going to be Jin into Merge into Hawk. No, hold on. Changed my mind. It's going to be Merge to re-trigger Spider-Ham into Jin into Hawk. That way, if we draw into Mystique, perfect. If we don't, then we can maybe lean into the Iron Lad line. They are going to have a card that's negatively afflicted, though. So no more Shadow King for them, which is fantastic. Let's see what they went with in mid, because we do have a pretty big left lane on them. The big Mockingbird. Mockingbird is big. They have a Master Mold of their own that they were able to draw from us. They do, however, get 1 draw after the Jin comes in. And so 4 Sentinels, 1 Jin, 2 resources at max that they could utilize. We don't have initiative. 6 more here. Not quite do it. So our plan would be like Iron Lad, Sentinel, Korg. But we do get the retreat. We'll go ahead and take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Jesus himself, or Jesus Rose again. I guess not Jesus himself. I'm going to go ahead and start with Spider-Ham into mid. The left lane is Jotunheim. Super unfortunate. He take out their Sasquatch, which is huge. They can change the left lane if they choose to because of their Nico. I'm not going to take that at face value just in case they don't. I'm going to go ahead and play Master Mold over to the right and start cluttering up their hand. Right now, we don't have a secondary way to trigger it, but there are a couple that we can draw in either Symbiote Spider-Man or Grandmaster. They go White Widow, so they change mid. They leave Jotunheim alone. Let's see what we have in mid. It is Mojo World. So Master Mold comes into play. They could be running like a full-on like junk-ish style. We can't do anything big into the big house, so we'll have to rely on like Hawk into Mystique to get that extra reach into that location. So they have their Sentinel. That's fine. You can play the Sentinel as much as you want. The Kitty Pryde comes into play. They will still be able to draw because we can't re-trigger Master Mold. Even if we get Symbiote Spider-Man, we can't play it over there. We can play the Grandmaster, but it's not perfect. Let's go Symbiote Spider-Man into mid. That protects us from any kind of like junk stuff that they ended up that they might want to go with. They have Wiccan for the wicked amount of extra energy that can provide. Shadow King, not necessarily what we want to go with. They might be able to flood, so Ronin might not be as great of an answer. But right now it is the best we have. We only have 2 Sentinels in their hand, so only 2 guaranteed cards there. So as long as they have 3 cards in hand, then we'll be able to tie with Ronin. And so I'm going to go the Ronin line. I think that's safer. I don't think they're ever going to be able to play all of their resources except for the one that we shuffled in. So the Hood comes in. Is this Viper? If so, that's beautiful. Oh, it's probably Kitty Pryde. Beast. Interesting. They won't draw here. They do have the Bamboozled. They don't get to draw. The Kitty Pryde is stuck. We could always go Symbiote Merge into Grandmaster, hope for the Master Mold. That'll move here. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do Mystique. Symbiote Merge into the Grandmaster line. We're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. They go 1 card to the right. They stack over into the left lane. I'm thinking we probably have them. One, the Demon is big. The Big Pig, the Nico comes in. But with Mystique on the line, we're going to be able to push a lot of power over there. But it turns out that we're going to have to hit Master Mold. The 50-50, I guess it's not a 50. The 50-50 Master Mold could give us the means to win by pushing us up a little bit further. It gives us a tie in the right lane. My goodness. Gives us tie in the right lane. Lets us win mid. They can have the left lane. We will gladly take it. Even if this hadn't been Mojo World, we won this one by 19. They won this one by 19. So it would have ended up being an exact tie had it not been for Mojo World. We'll take the 2. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Super Carnage. Let's go ahead and play our Spider-Ham into Hotel Inferno. We take out their Mockingbird, a huge benefit. Or we Spider-Ham their Mockingbird, and then we take out their Killmonger. They, however, take out our Master Mold, which is unfortunate. Grandmaster also pays for our sins by taking the Heist Man hit. The Kate Bishop does give them additional tools or utility into the vault. So let's go Rock Slide over there. We might stage a Symbiote Spider-Man depending on if they send us a like Acid Arrow this turn or not. Shadow King might be all right for the last turn, but I'm thinking maybe they're going some kind of zoo with the Kate Bishop with Iceman having Mockingbird. So basic arrow comes down, Pim arrow comes down, pretty big or pretty good. Double drop in the right lane is big as well. I mean, we can do... We have Symbiote Spider-Man. We eventually merge that into the vault. But what I'm excited about is we have our Ronin we can stage next turn into the Mystique line. Or if we need to pivot out of the vault, I guess we can't because of Miniaturized Lab. We can't pivot out of the vault. So a single drop in the right and Carnage in the left. Interesting. You have their Demon. So they could go pretty big here. How big are they going to go? Go ahead and merge the Symbiote. Let's play Ronin. Then we do have a like Mystique Cosmo line. Okay, the Cosmo over there I think is okay. It does stop our Rock Slide from triggering an additional time, but since we don't have Hawk, it depends on... They only have 3 cards right now. So as long as they have, I think, 1, we're okay. I think we're going to go Iron Lad, hope for the 50-50 of hitting Hawk. And then we also have our Shadow King in the left to bring Carnage down a touch. They have to be able to play 3 cards to be able to win in the vault. If they can do that, they win. So Sasquatch comes in, the big rock. We win in the right lane. We need the good 50-50 Hawk play. And so we are going to be able to come over the top of their Sasquatch Carnage. We win left, we win right, just by a small margin, but we are able to hold it in. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Butna. The first location is Wakandan Embassy. We have our Spider-Ham. We take out their Odin. So a Quicksilver Wiccan deck that runs an Odin. So a super greedy Wiccan deck for sure. Now, we do have the Grandmaster, but we don't have anything good to hit with it. Ideally, we'd be able to get Rocks or Master Mold. Rocks will work. We will gladly take the Rock Shuffle. Next turn, depending on what we draw, if it's Master Mold, maybe we go Master Mold plus Grandmaster to shuffle Rocks plus Sentinels into their hand. Okay. Or we try for a potential like double Master Mold so that they can't draw. Snap into it. I want to see if maybe we can stop them from drawing with the double Master Mold. Or we're going to add a little bit of junk into it and then some rocks. There's a chance that we draw into Shadow King by the end of the game to offset the Cassandra Nova here. That Wong is big. We know that they don't have an Odin. So Grandmaster ends up hitting Rock Slide, not the Master Mold, so they will be able to draw. But they have more rocks shuffled in, so a better chance for them to hit that instead. I kind of think we go... I feel like we need to go Iron Lad. Or I feel like we need to go Hawk. Let's go Hawk over to the left. Then we'll see from there. They go Iron Lad of their own, and that hits a Zabu. Not a huge boon or benefit for them. Let's see what we can draw into here. Ronin, not quite what we want to see. So I think we go something like Iron Lad Org. There's a good chance. Actually, every single hit from Iron Lad in the right is great. Cosmo would stop them from doing their big stuff, but that's if they don't play anything into the mines. Victory. Do force the retreat. They thought they could get us, but nah. That is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.